Welcome to another OneTake Watch Party presented by Saulcast. What are we doing here? The penultimate episode of Better Call Saul airs in less than 2 hours now. A few people in the chat reminded me that is true for the United States. If you're not in the United States, I'm sorry. I know you have to wait, I think, another 24 hours-ish before it comes out on Netflix. But if you're here in the U.S. and a few other countries, you're less than 2 hours away from the penultimate episode.
Daniel?
You know what that means, Daniel?
Second to last.
You know how to say third to last?
Tersh ultimate?
Ultimate.
Anti-penultimate.
So what's a fourth from last?
I don't remember.
Anti-penultimate.
Supercalifragilistic, something like that. So I wanted to just do something really casual. We're going to be sitting here just waiting for the new episode to start. I figured lots of other people are doing the same thing. We want to just soak in the hype.
We're just going to sit here, no talking.
Yeah, let's all
except for this intro.
We're all just going to look at each other and wait for Better Call Saul to start. So first off, by the way, if in case you're new here, I'm Gil. I'm here with
Daniel.
And
Alun.
And we've saved a seat here. If you came in here and you're thinking, Saulcast, where's Adam? Don't worry. He's going to be here. But you know how Adam is, right? He wants the anticipation to be there. He wants to build up the hype. He doesn't want to show up until people are crying out for Adam. So if you're looking for Adam, just shout it out in the chat. I think the more people who ask for him, the sooner he'll join us here. Daniel, how are you going to be watching?
Once we hit 1,000 viewers.
Yeah, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, that means we've lost.
Viewers. Oh, yeah.
Daniel, how are you going to be watching tonight?
I'm going to be watching with you.
All right, there you go. So there's a few different ways to watch. You can watch it on AMC, AMC
with
Plus.
Anticipation.
We're going to try AMC
Plus,
right. But have not had much success with it.
Well, a lot of people recently learned this is an exciting new thing for this season, but they are posting the episodes onto AMC Plus, their streaming service, which you can also watch through Amazon Prime. I don't know why. It sounds like I'm doing a commercial. I don't know why I'm doing this. But the exciting thing is you can watch without commercials, which for us is great for the instant take because it gives us a little buffer. We can finish the episode. Everyone else is still watching for half an hour, and that's when I can scramble to get my notes ready. And I'm peeling back the curtains. I'm giving away all the secrets. Lieutenant Dirk says, please. First off, Cyrus M, thank you very much for the super chat. And I got news for you, Cyrus. What is my news, Alon? You're an incredible human being.
Oh, yeah.
Lieutenant Dirk says, please film your reactions. So that was an idea that was floated, I think, originally by KFP. He wanted us to do that for the finale. Basically, while we watch the episode, just have a camera pointed at us. Don't stream it live or anything, but just record us watching the finale. And then afterward, we can maybe release little parts of it. I don't know. What do you think about that idea?
I was going to say it feels a little creepy. But maybe you're more used to that than I am.
All right, there you go, Dirk. So Daniel's still learning how to communicate with the fans, calling them creepy for a mere suggestion. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I didn't say the person was creepy for suggesting it.
Well, I don't know about you guys. I don't feel like I emote very much. Like even if something shocking happens, like I feel it like in my brain,
right?
You know? But I don't think I really like react too noticeably. So what we can do is we have time before the instant take after the show. So if we're not happy with our live reaction, we'll just fake it.
We'll just tweak it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I think there's no way not to fake it. I feel like while watching, I'll be so aware of the camera that I'll want to play it up. And I'm going to be influenced by all the reaction videos I've seen on YouTube, which means, I have to yell things like, oh, no, no, what am I?
Well, that's some commentary to avoid copyright strike.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I think we wouldn't show the actual episode. Every time we do one of these watch parties, invariably, a bunch of people come into the comments going like, so you guys are going to play the episode here? Like, no, shockingly, AMC has not authorized us to screen the episode.
Yet.
Maybe
the finale.
Yeah, we're working on that. Daniel, you're working on that, right?
Oh, yeah. I'd also like to apologize for calling anybody creepy. I don't mean it. My real reaction is, I feel like I'd have trouble actually watching the show if I were being observed. And then that would even affect what you're thinking about the show, because you're just thinking like, well, what should I be thinking about the show?
Right.
It would give you this whole meta level of analysis.
Okay, so I think I found the solution. we are not going to film the finale, our reactions. Okay, now guys, cover your ears. I'm going to set up a hidden camera and record them, and they won't know that I'm recording them, so the reactions will be genuine. Okay.
What?
Yeah, there you go. You can uncover your ears now. Cyrus M, since you gave that super chat, I'm going to pull up your follow-up question here. Am I the only one who is disappointed by the Walt and Jesse cameo? Like, I get the parallel that he was making the same mistake twice, but it didn't feel totally necessary. Daniel, what Walt and Jesse cameo? No, I think I'm going through a lot of what the writers probably went through, which is they knew they had to include Walt and Jesse. There's no way you could tell this story where you're going to overlap with that timeline where they were so pivotal in turning Jimmy from Saul into Gene. They were clearly an important part of his life. So they knew they had to bring them in. And they found, I thought, possibly the best way to do it. Like you mentioned, the parallel. For me, the parallel was great. I think if they hadn't brought up Walt and Jesse and kind of reframed Saul's view of his relationship with them, where he sees himself as kind of the one that saw the potential in Walt and then was the mastermind pulling the strings, get him out of the little leagues, introduce him to Gus. The fact that we now see that Saul views the relationship that way makes the parallel stronger between him and Jeff. And so it just adds a lot more weight to the choice he made last episode to break into the guy's house and kind of relive the glory days. So for me, it worked, but it's impossible to remove the idea that they had to be there. It feels inorganic. Every other choice in the show feels organic because they can do anything. This, in a sense, feels inorganic because it feels like they had to do it. So my feelings about it are mixed, but I come out loving it. And yeah, I'm happy with it. Any other thoughts to add to that?
I mean, obviously, I think we've talked about this before, but it's obvious. Like partly this was done for the fan service. I mean, like it's unavoidable. But that being said, they took that and they're like, even though this is fan service, let's figure out the best way to do it that's still relevant to the story and isn't just like a cheap way to make fans happy.
Right.
So I mean, I think it was really well done, and I mean, listen, I liked seeing them.
Yeah, because there is a question of, okay, the parallel works. Now let's zoom into that specific scene where we saw Walt and Jesse. Did we need to see that entire scene? And it's hard for me to say we needed to. What did it add? Part of what it added is further showing how traumatized Jimmy was by the whole Lalo situation. It kind of reframed that moment. It wasn't me, it was Ignacio. Reframed that as a true PTSD flare-up. I think they reshot that moment in a way where there's a close-up of Bob Odenkirk and he looks truly traumatized. Now, people responded to that by saying, we already knew that. And the one thing I'll add to that is when Jesse asks who Lalo is, and they're just sitting there in the dark waiting for the RV to be ready to turn back on, Jimmy becomes impatient. He can't think about Lalo because I think it turns him back into Jimmy McGill, and he wants to go back to being Saul Goodman. So it kind of shows you how deep that pain goes. But did we already know that? Yes, but that's true of so many things. There's so many character traits that Jimmy has which are shown over and over. How many times is too many? How many times are enough to really solidify it in your mind and kind of be part of that character portrait they're painting? It's subjective, I guess. But for me, I fell on the side of it worked. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I agree that like all those are things we already knew, but I do think the cameo made it feel much more powerful, right? Especially because there's a lot of like emotion tied to Walt and Jesse and everything they went through as well.
Right.
Like I think it makes everything that's going to happen to Saul a lot more powerful.
Yeah, it's kind of, I haven't found the exact words to use to express this idea in my brain, but it's kind of like you're drawing a parallel to the events of Breaking Bad. So you want to bring it back into our mind. And the more you can do that, and the more you can bring back how iconic that show was, the more weight it carries.
Yeah.
Having Walt and Jesse there just adds more weight to it. But let me go over to Mark Rayburn. Thank you for the €5, right?
I didn't see the symbol.
Oh, take a look right here. Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
Mark's in Ireland, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, Mark was the winner of the Mike bobblehead.
Yeah.
Mark, welcome back.
I feel like we mention this every other
Yeah,
stream.
I know. Every watch party, Mark comes back. So for last year, for the finale, we did a big watch party where when we did a trivia night since then, this was kind of the prototype for the trivia night, where it was done via live call-ins, one contestant at a time. You call in, we asked 3 questions live, and if you got all 3, you got a prize. And Mark got the Mike bobblehead. I'm calling it here first. This episode will be 100% Kim and Kim only. What do you think?
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had this same prediction, and I'm wondering if he's secretly Mark Rayburn.
Is your friend's name Mark Rayburn?
No.
Oh. Does he live in Ireland?
No.
All right. Well, there you go.
What
Probably
currency,
not
What
him.
currency is his cash?
He is Irish, though.
Oh, okay. Call him. Let's get him on the line right now. Let's publicly humiliate him. I don't know. I think it's possible. I do feel so. At the end of last episode, do we feel we've seen enough of Kim? And I think if the series began with her as sort of a supporting character, it's almost surprising for her and Nacho. If you go back and watch from episode 1 all over again, you're like, where's Nacho? Where's Kim? They're barely in the show. She was definitely in the role of a supporting character. She was kind of the counterweight to Jimmy's immoral behavior. She was the one to kind of rein him back in. And then she grew into a protagonist in her own right. So when you look at her as another protagonist, I don't feel like we've seen enough yet. So I do think we're going to see more Kim either tonight or next week, or possibly after that with another spinoff. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think we're going to see more Kim. I don't think it's a full Kim episode, but I do think we'll see her in black and white.
Do you think there's any chance? I think this is unlikely, but do you think there's any chance that they're lying to us and there's actually going to be more episodes?
Oh, Attack on Titan style. So for any anime fans out there, our favorite anime, I think I can safely say this, is Attack on Titan. And they are also in the final season, just like Better Call Saul. And they aired the series finale, what we thought was the series finale. Then they were like, just kidding. Part 2 of the final season's coming in a few months. And then we're watching that, and I'm looking at what's remaining in the season, and I'm saying, how are they going to wrap everything up? Then the finale airs, and they say, just kidding, part 3 coming next year. So I don't know. Could they pull the same thing with Better Call Saul?
No.
I was going to ask you what you think, but you're the one who proposed the idea, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's an interesting idea to think about.
I mean, I can see how they can finish the show in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I see how they can finish the show. We've been saying this for a few episodes now, but I love, for a lot of other shows, when you're approaching the finale, you feel like they're saving too much for that final episode. Here, I feel like we've already gotten conclusions. We got the conclusion to the Nacho story early on in the season. I feel fully satisfied with Gus and Mike's arcs on the show. And we're basically, I feel like I've been watching the finale for a few episodes now. So this is the least worried I've ever been going into the end game of a series. Maybe besides Breaking Bad, I'd say it's like a tie. So I'm not worried. I think they've got enough.
I just
time.
want to acknowledge just one comment that says anime sucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what you're saying there? Anime is not even a genre. You're just saying. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you know, I'm not gonna start defending anime too much. I'm just gonna say there's an anime for everybody. Maybe you haven't seen the right one yet.
Yeah.
Keep looking.
Because that literally just means Japanese animation. And then, of course, it's gone on to take certain connotations where you'll associate certain styles with anime. So then you end up with Castlevania produced in America, but some people still refer to it as anime, much to the chagrin of some commenter, even though I didn't say it was anime. I just said it got me into anime.
Yo.
I'm out of here. Oh, you know, there is a lot of fun you can have, though, with finales. So one way you can go is people think it's the finale, and then surprise, 10 more episodes coming. Another way you can go is Robert Kirkman, author of the comic series The Walking Dead. I love the way he wrapped up the comic. So the show is still going. It's wrapping up, but spinning off into like 5 more series. But the comic ended. But what I love is that it was an ongoing series, and then all of a sudden an issue came out, and he said, "Oh, by the way, this is the final issue." And the reason he did that is because, and then I'll get to whatever you're laughing about in a second.
It's just one comment. It's funny.
All right. Is this something you can share with the class, or is it inappropriate?
Yeah, no. This person just said, just watch 3 grown men defend anime.
I believe the correct term is weebs.
Hey, I did not defend anime.
But you do.
Although I would defend it. I just didn't.
As with most topics, you've remained silent on the issue.
I could see both sides.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Great
like
callback,
Jeff.
dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, Robert Kirkman, who's basically saying, as you approach the end of a book or the end of a movie, you know you're getting to the end. So by its nature, you're removing some of the surprise element. So he didn't want that to happen. So he just says, hey, it's the last issue. And I kind of really respect that.
I was thinking you were going to say the other way to end it is you would say, there's like 5 episodes left, but on like the first of those 5, you just say at the end, oh, this is the end.
Yeah, just kidding. It's over. Which Better Call Saul kind of gave us the best of both worlds, because it kind of feels like episode 9 was the finale. Jimmy became Saul. Like, that's it. You saw it. And then you go almost into epilogue mode, which is just, we've complimented it for that so many times. MG, thank you for the $2. Love of the Avatar, by the way. We've seen this one before. Futurama, that's a show that's coming back, by the way. People keep saying, what's next? What's Saulcast going to do next?
Another animation.
Yeah, there you go.
Cartoon.
Talk about Futurama. Favorite con from BCS. For him, it's the con montage with Marco. So that would be episode 10, season 1, titled Marco, where after Jimmy finds out that Chuck betrayed him and he was the one that was pushing Howard to not let him work at HHM the whole time, Jimmy left Albuquerque, went back to Cicero, and then basically went on a scam bender. Kind of like what he's doing now, but not quite as reckless. This was the same episode where he convinced a woman that he was Kevin Costner. Went on a scam bender with Marco. So
that was great.
What was your favorite? Do you guys remember any particular favorites? Daniel's like, what's a con? Like a comic convention? Or what are we talking about here?
I did read the message and at first was thinking about Comic-Con or something. But maybe that's because of anime. Does anime have anything to do with Comic-Con?
I think they're covered at Comic-Con.
Okay. We're done talking about anime.
Yeah, let's move on. Man.
I think I would say the Marco montage. Like, that one was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I mean, I need like a list in front of me.
Yeah,
I remember. I mean, that one was amazing though.
Right. It was a lot of, like, that was one of the ones where it wasn't just scenes cut together. It also, they were doing a lot of fun stuff with the graphics, like cards going by. It almost felt like Jimmy and Marco were floating in this abyss surrounded by casino imagery. Similar, more understated, but similar to the last episode where you have the credit cards flying across the screen and the IDs blowing up, that kind of thing. I've been talking about that one as long as I can to give myself time to think of another, but it's really hard to talk about that montage while thinking about other ones.
My favorite con is the one they pulled against Howard. I don't know if you remember this one, where they like totally defamed him and everything that ruined his life.
Because of how hilarious.
It was so lighthearted and fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, the magic trick of that episode is that it was lighthearted and fun. They kind of lulled you into that at the beginning of the episode with the almost one take, but not quite, outside with the camera spinning when they're trying to retake all the pictures with the Casemiro arm cast. Man, the Huel one was great. I love like with all the cell phones. I mean, that might be my favorite. Purely for seeing the pictures of Huel on the website, showing him as a hero of his hometown in Coshada. That was pretty great. So I'd have to look at a list and think through all of them. But yeah, the Marco one was great visually, but I have such a soft spot for the Huel one. It just brings such a smile to my face. All right, let's see here. Piano Orlando. Everyone seems to think it's a lock that Kim comes back in this series, but I'm not so sure that's the case. Thoughts? We talked about this a little, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, on the Insider podcast, they said she's going to appear in.
Oh, you're making a joke. Yeah. That was Daniel referencing the fact that I don't know why I'm explaining this. Adam and I have felt that sometimes the folks working on the show have been a little too cavalier with cleverly, giving stuff away. Okay, the episode where Nacho dies earlier in the day, tweeting stuff like, "Boy, you guys are not ready for tonight's episode. You're not gonna believe what's gonna happen tonight." But I don't know. Any serious thoughts on this? Do you feel? I mean, whether or not we're gonna see her again, I mean, do you think we need to see her? If we didn't, would you be disappointed?
I mean, I do. I agree with what you were saying before, where it feels like there's more we need to know about her, and she did become more of a protagonist.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't she win, or like she was nominated for a lead actress?
Let's see here.
I think she went from the fact that she was nominated for that tells me.
Yeah, I think she was nominated not for supporting. I think it's just best actress.
No, but I agree with you. Like, she became a protagonist.
Yeah.
It feels.
No, sorry. Outstanding supporting actress.
Oh, wow. But it would be very disappointing if we didn't see more of her.
All right, never mind.
Boo Emmys.
No, but I mean, it seems like they're actually good at giving you what you want. And we want to see a little bit more where she is now. What she's been up to during the Breaking Bad timeline. Something.
Well, I was just going to say, what's frustrating, though, is I guess there would be an artistic reason not to show her, which is we would then feel kind of the way that Jimmy feels, right? He doesn't get that closure with her. He doesn't get to see whatever happened to her.
It's like an artistic move not to show us anything.
Yeah, that would be pretty frustrating, though, which also is how Jimmy would feel.
You're using the term artistic as a kind of pejorative.
Well, artistic, like it would make sense, but it would piss everybody off.
Right. I think, I'll say this. I think we're definitely going to see more Kim. I also, just the fact that they didn't show us precisely what happened on that phone call. Anytime they've done something like that, I think we eventually learn what's going on. Like with the Nacho call, where he called Gus and Mike, and we just saw Mike's reaction. He's looking for you. And then we saw the other side of it.
What if we see her side of that conversation, but a truck drives by and you don't hear what she's saying?
Or it just makes no sense. Kim's like, "Saul, it's so great to hear from you. Why are you yelling at me?" I was thinking we could reunite. Whoa, okay. What's with all those trucks going by?
I have a prediction now.
Okay.
So when Jimmy is leaving after the events of Breaking Bad, he's fleeing, and he gives that business card to, what's the woman?
Francesca.
To Francesca. Who's the lawyer on that business card?
Bill Oakley.
It's Kim.
Kim
gets rebarred.
Yeah.
If that's a word. And she's been involved in a bunch of the events of Breaking Bad. And we didn't know about it. I know people have probably said this before. I don't really believe it that much.
I would have said
interesting.
Like 4 episodes ago, I would have said maybe. The way things have gone now, it's just really hard to picture that. By the way, so we are currently planning, and I don't want you to think we're saving it for the last second. We've been planning our finale, what we're going to do for the finale of Better Call Saul, and essentially the final chapter of Saulcast. And I'm not saying it'll be the last episode. There could be some bonus episodes, but that'll be like the Gene timeline. In terms of the true finale, like the big one to go out on, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. One of the ideas we floated, which has been rejected, is we've learned that there are some states where you can apply to the bar without going to law school. One of those states is Vermont. So I was thinking about taking a road trip in a couple days and take the bar, see if I can become a lawyer and get accepted to the Vermont Bar Association before the finale. Apparently the tests were held like a week and a half ago. So I missed it. Yeah, well, okay, so you can't hear Adam off mic, but he says that while I'm in solitude in Vermont, he'll come and play cards with me, just like Ed the Disappearer did with Walt when he was hiding out in New Hampshire. What will we do? Okay, all right. What will we do for the finale? It's going to be a surprise. We got some pretty cool stuff being planned right now.
Is this a reference?
I don't know what's happening right now.
Spoilers.
Okay. If you're listening to this, like if you got YouTube on background play, Adam just walked in with blindfolds on. He's trying to be very careful. We're down to 2 episodes left.
Okay.
Just don't look at the screen.
He doesn't want
to. I can't even risk seeing your guys' faces.
Or take off your glasses.
He does not want to get spoiled.
Right.
So he has covered his eyes. This should be an interesting podcast.
I'll just leave one eye open so I can see Gil.
All right, there you go. Has there ever been an eye-patched character
I want to see what it looked like, though.
on Better Call Saul? Can't think of
There
one.
might be one tonight.
All
For
right.
all the spoilers that I've read.
It's Trish D. Wait, let me read this in my head first. Make sure there's no spoilers.
I can drop this.
Okay. First off, Trish, thank you for the $5. And I've seen your name pop up a bunch, so I know you're a longtime supporter. Thank you very much. I am not prepared for this to end. This is going to be painful. Thanks to you for all your analysis. Well, first off, you're welcome. And yeah, I think we're all feeling a bit of that. Owen, are you upset that the show's ending?
It's the
wheels are turning.
Bittersweet, you know.
Do I try and say something funny right now, or do I give a serious answer?
No, Len's just trying to figure out emotions. What are those?
Yeah.
What's the right emotion to be feeling here?
Feel.
Listen, think about it this way: 6 seasons, right?
Yeah,
It's a long time.
Wait, how many seasons was it? Yeah, 6.
Breaking Bad was only 5, right?
That's right.
So like we've already been given like an extra season compared to that show. They've given us a lot more than they needed to.
That's true.
And we saw a prequel, we saw a sequel. What else is there? I feel like they've given us everything.
Yeah,
we
maybe
got Slippin' Jimmy.
That's true. That really filled in the blanks.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay. How many episodes did Breaking Bad have? Spitball. What do you think, Daniel? Did you just call me Spitball?
Spitball
54.
Daniel.
Oh, what do you think? Okay. It was,
No.
I know. Wait, I know the answer.
You know the answer?
60.
Okay. It was close at 6.
Well, can I prove that I know it?
Yeah.
52.
No.
Wait, really?
Did you hear what Gil just said to my
No, no,
response?
no.
He
I
literally
wasn't
started saying that was close.
Breaking Bad had 62 episodes.
I was off by 1.
You're up by, well, 1 digit.
Yeah.
How many episodes does Better Call Saul have
More.
in total?
112.
61. It
Oh.
missed it by 1.
Wow.
Now, though, if you so it's 67 though, including Slippin' Jimmy. But
Are we including that?
63 for Breaking Bad, including.
Oh,
El
I
Camino.
didn't even. A bunch of people just guessed.
But yeah, no, of course we're bummed it's going to end. But I will say that I already feel so satisfied with the story. I'm very, very happy with the way the story is wrapping up. So the thing that gives me solace is that this now frees up these writers. Go ahead.
Solace.
Solace?
No.
Solace.
You said
Yeah.
it's because Saul. The word Saul.
Oh, so the thing that
It's
gives me
not worth
sauce is that is that now Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, Tom Schnauz, everybody else involved in the show, they're free to work on some other stuff. And I was thinking about that today. Think about the opportunity cost. Tom Schnauz, one of my favorite writers in the show, the last, 9, 10, 11 or so years have been dedicated to this universe and these characters. What stories could he tell that he didn't tell because he's been so busy with this?
Right, like Netflix could have hired him and he could have made bank
Yeah, it's true.
writing garbage.
Wow, for these last 2 episodes, Adam is just letting
Yeah.
loose. He doesn't care anymore. This is the side of Adam you don't want to see. This is scary now.
It's true. Subscribe to Patreon for more.
Oh yeah, that's where that's where the salacious stuff goes. So everyone here I think has noticed we censor ourselves a little bit when certain topics get brought up. We're oddly quiet. We quickly move on. If you want to see that stuff, you want to see the stuff that's too hot for mainstream that we can't talk about in public, subscribe to the Patreon. That's where you can find all that. Link in the description.
My feeling on do we need like more? I think this story is they've told everything they needed to tell and more. We're already kind of in epilogue. That said, I think the epilogue is very important.
Yeah.
It's not that they need to tell more about these characters, but I need more from this group of people. Well, not the characters, but from the minds behind it.
Mhm.
So it saddens me that they're potentially going to go their separate ways and all be working on different projects independently. Maybe that's good because it means now we're going to have like a bunch of different really good things to watch, but you'll also maybe lose the magic of having them together.
Yes.
Think about this. There's been 6 seasons of Better Call Saul, and they've all been great.
Mhm.
Like this, we got everything we deserve and more. Because how many other shows?
Daniel definitely got more than he
Yeah.
deserved.
I knew you were going to say that.
But how many other shows that we loved at first could last this long?
Should we think of all the shows that disappointed us besides Game of
I
Thrones?
mean, like there's so many shows that started out great. We just after Game of Thrones, like I'll start a show, I'll just stop. I just stop caring.
What was that? Gangs of London?
Gangs of London.
Yeah.
Is that the name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll give season 2 another shot.
I definitely
I
will.
will.
like 2 episodes in, I was texting all of my friends saying, this is the best show ever made.
I declared it my favorite show ever after like 2 or 3 episodes.
And it completely fell apart in like the worst, most ridiculous ways.
We got to do a whole podcast episode just about shows that disappointed us.
Yeah, it sounds like a riot.
We'll need a drink for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that show, I mean, they had, so Gareth Evans, the writer-director of The Raid and The Raid 2, 2 of the greatest action films of all time. He ran Gangs of London. And what?
Just to put it into context, if you look, a lot of people might not have seen The Raid because those are like Indonesian films, but they definitely made a pretty big splash like around the world. Mm-hmm. But if you like John Wick, without The Raid, you don't have John Wick in terms of like the lineage of this kind of writing, this kind of like fighting.
Yeah, 100%. So I wonder if maybe he was pretty involved in the first 2 episodes of the series, and then it was like, okay, you guys can all take it from here.
And that's why I'm kind of lamenting we had like in Lord of the Rings, like the Fellowship, it's like so awesome that they're all together and working together. It's really sad at the end when they all split apart.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this. It's not about the actual show Better Call Saul. I think it's been amazing. I think it's going to, by the time it's done, we're going to reflect on it and say it was one of the best shows of all time. But you have these mind splitting apart. And kind of similarly with these shows, like sometimes you have a really good creative mind behind it, but they're only there for the beginning and then they kind of go on to something else. One of the reasons we love am I like going off on
No, you just made me think of something funny. I'll say it after.
One of the reasons we love shows, one of the things we like about anime has nothing to do with the fact, and it's only a very small percent of anime, really.
Yeah.
But they're adapted from stories that are often already completely completed, like through like manga and stuff, which means the whole idea came from one person or maybe a couple of people. It's an integrated, complete story, and now it's just being adapted.
Right.
Now, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, that's not exactly what happened, but at least the minds behind it stayed involved the entire time. You had Vince Gilligan and Schnoz and
I always forget. There's so many other people involved. I feel bad that those are the
Who's
three
the one that kept spoiling everything?
He's
still good too.
I don't know that. I feel like you always say it was Schnauz.
No, not Schnauz. The other one.
Gilligan?
No,
Vince Gilligan.
Oh, Gould.
They're good guys.
So you got them, and like, it's the best thing. One of the best things about these series is that they've been involved the whole time.
Yeah. I think when you're passing a show from one showrunner to another, and it's a revolving door of writers
around like a piece of meat.
Oh yeah, it just you can't get a fully integrated vision. And I mean, I used to think that the best stories and the best movies are Stanley Kubrick style, where he wrestled control, he micromanaged everything. It all came from one mind.
Auteur.
Yeah, I have turned around on that, and because of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, because that truly was a collaboration. It was a writer's room, but it was a pretty consistent writer's room. It was one where they really took their time. And they kind of melded together into this super brain that just created this great story. So I no longer feel that way, but I still think there's something in that ballpark where there does need to be a consistency of vision, some integration in the story overall, and that's a special sauce that Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul have. I think most other shows don't.
It's like every other show has like French dressing or ranch.
Yeah,
this has French,
which was introduced by Gus to. Oh no, it was one of the other people.
It was Schuler, the guy like Gus's inside man at Madrigal.
That's right. Yeah. The reason I was laughing before,
who committed suicide in like the coolest way, by the way.
Yeah, he went into the bathroom and took the defibrillator off.
And he like took the pads off and stuck the wires in his mouth and just fried his brain.
And I think that was like the first time we saw him in Breaking Bad, right? I'd have to go back. I don't remember.
It's possible. I can't. That's hard.
I feel like that was before we knew anything about Madrigal.
Yeah,
it cold opened with that or something.
That's what I feel like I remember. Yeah. The reason I was laughing before is because when you were talking about the writers' room breaking up and everyone going their separate ways.
COVID.
No, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about the fact that sometimes bands fall apart when one of them tries to start like a solo album. and I was picturing the same thing's gonna happen with Saulcast, and I was picturing Daniel on a bunch of album covers. Oh, and by the way, I want to thank.
He ends up being way more successful. Than
I want to thank Radio Chaos for the $5 Canadian. I am not going to read your super chat because it contains what Adam would consider to be a spoiler. And I would also consider it a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you very much. But like, if you've been listening, then you know that we're very averse to knowing anything about what's coming next based on behind the scenes stuff or even promotional material.
Yeah. And we also we want to protect. There's a segment of people who like Saulcast in part because we are really protective about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So even probably what you shared was something I might have already seen or been exposed to, but I got to protect.
Yeah, we're very careful about this stuff.
Protect the troops.
Protect the Saulcast / OneTake Army.
That's right.
Nation.
We'll come up with the name.
It
for
depends
that.
how aggressive we're feeling.
We have the Adam Army that comes to your rescue when people attack you
for curmudgeon.
Well, for being a curmudgeon or for stealing all the attention. Though everybody on this podcast has been accused of that. Every time you guys are on, one of you gets targeted to be like, "Oh, I can tell you wanted all the attention." One person was
I
like,
do not know how.
"Oh,
I
I noticed the Lund's no longer on the show this week. I guess they noticed he was trying to take all the attention." Meanwhile, usually after, I'm like, you guys should talk a little more, you know?
Hey, I never tried to steal any attention.
Except for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
wow, way to interrupt. you were saying something?
No, I was just agreeing with you, making jokes, you know.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ataheri, for the 45 Danish krone. Love and support or Denmark. Wait, is that Danish krone? It says that right here. Look at this.
Oh, he has a separate tab open where he's translating all
the Love and support from Denmark. Been following you since the start of season 6. Some fan you are. We've been doing this since season 4. Just kidding. Just kidding. Showed your show to some friends. We are now 10 friends watching OneTake together.
That's awesome.
So cool.
That's really cool.
Because usually when I get into a podcast, it's like a solitary thing. I'm embarrassed to tell
Or like
anybody
I tell my friends about it. I'm like, you should check this out. And I know they're never going to look.
Yeah, they give you the curse. Really, yeah, totally. I'll check it out.
It's like you have better friends than I do.
Yeah. I got to say, congrats on the 10 friends.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's just us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no friends.
No.
We don't need them.
Yeah. That's the great thing about having brothers.
And podcasts.
I have friends.
Yeah. We're all.
I never try to steal attention.
All of you are our friends, especially the ones who gave us super chats.
I was going to say.
You're our best friends. It's like, remember MySpace when it introduced the top friends? They really caused a lot of drama because I didn't want to even get involved in it. So all of a sudden, they just assigned me 8 top friends. And anybody who visited my MySpace page, which anyone who doesn't know, was basically before Facebook. That's what people used. So my friends would look at it and they'd be like, oh, so she's a better friend to you than me. And I'm like, well, according to MySpace, I got to think they have an algorithm for this. So yeah, she is a better friend to me than you are. I'm scrolling through all the guesses for how many episodes Breaking Bad had.
Oh. Well, we know the answer.
Oh, here we go. Adam, you got some support here. Hisham, thank you for the 2.
Yes.
Jordanian diners.
Hey.
Dinar. I hate this season episode titles. Adam was right. You see how we've cleverly titled the episode where Howard gets killed. We've called it Plan and Execution. I don't know if you know this, but execution is kind of a double entendre.
Now, I've been thinking about this.
Yeah.
There's kind of been a contradiction in my head where I talk about how good the writers are.
Mm-hmm.
And then every week I'm like, these stupid writers with these titles, what's wrong with them?
Yeah.
So I don't know. All right, let's assume it's the writers who are coming up with these titles.
I know.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
I believe that's not true, but
okay. So then this is a move. But
let's just say this. It's probably a mix. I think of like the producers are right. I'm sure they have a say.
Someone is saying that these titles are okay, even though they're blatant spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Blatant.
Right.
Blatant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they should be revealed afterward.
What was the name of the episode where Nacho died?
Nacho dies.
Rock and Hard Place. Okay, that's
that
fair.
was fine.
That's a fair title.
I would say most of them were okay, but there were some that were really like Plan and Execution.
Breaking Bad.
And look, I'm not going to say I was inadvertently exposed to Tonight's. That's all I'm going to say. Big mistake.
Yeah.
Wait, it's called Big Mistake?
No, but that would be funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually
That
sounds
would
like
be a good title.
Yeah.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for a second, which is hard for me to do because I have strong emotions about this.
When you get on his bad side, you are on his bad side.
Yeah.
You're in the black book.
No redemption.
A little depending on the situation. But the question is, maybe they're intentionally undercutting the suspense for some reason.
Right.
Is there some kind of like artistic or like storytelling merit to drawing attention away from the suspense and like not knowing what's going to happen and say, no, we're kind of giving you an idea of what's about to happen so that you're taking your mind off of that and putting it on something else.
Right.
That's the only argument I can see in favor of the titles this season.
Right.
I'm still not happy about it, but I'm trying to see it from others.
It gave, knowing the title, like, okay, we knew the episode title Breaking Bad in advance.
Yeah.
It gave us an experience where we thought, okay, we're probably going to see Walt and Jesse tonight. That's exciting. Got me a little bit hyped. That is an experience. The other experience would have been cold open. Oh, shit.
That sounds better to me.
We're seeing it. Yeah, it does sound better.
Yeah.
Mandalorian, I think that's the show. It just says episode 2. And then after the episode airs, they reveal the title.
Which is funny because that's a show that doesn't even deserve this kind of treatment.
If they can pull it off for that show, why can't they do it for this one? I don't know.
Anyway, trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. If I trust the writers so much in other respects, and I guess I should broaden that and say overall, the show has been great from many angles, not just the writing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like marketing people that are involved or something because they want to build up the hype. They want like a journalist, to start writing articles about like, here's why we're definitely going to see Walt and Jesse in the next episode.
Right.
I think that's definitely part of it. I mean, if you look at the whole culture in general, like look at trailers, like the new Spider-Man trailer, like why are they giving anything away? I don't want to know that characters from past movies are coming in. Like, let it be a complete surprise.
Yeah.
Well,
people want stuff spoiled.
I'll tell you why. Hey, go ahead.
Counter argument. I would have been a lot less likely to see the latest Spider-Man if I didn't know that Garfield would be in it and have very, very high hopes that Tobey Maguire would be in it.
Spider-Man is probably one of the few movies that they would really have to screw up for me to, because like right now I would go see every new Spider-Man movie.
Right.
Like no matter what.
And that's
unless something they really mess up.
That's the only Marvel hero where that's true.
That's the only one I can think of.
I'm laughing because I did see a second of the chat, and one of our fairly long-time viewers, Stateless, keeps asking these questions in all caps about how to use YouTube. Like, how do I give a super chat? How do I highlight someone's name? You just have to type the @ symbol and then the person's name you're replying to. But it's really like iffy on YouTube sometimes whether it'll work or not.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So okay, we'll move on to another topic soon. But just why marketing may want to release these titles. Breaking Bad, for example, that series, I think by the end, it was consistently getting between 1 to 2 million viewers an episode. And then in the second half of the final season, it started to pick up episode by episode, rose up to 5 million, 6 million. Then the finale, 10 million. Better Call Saul, last episode got like 1.3 million viewers. So maybe they were thinking, hey, Breaking Bad, we tell people Walt and Jesse are going to be in it. Maybe we get some of those Breaking Bad viewers in. Didn't seem to work.
But who's going to jump in the middle on this show?
I think more people than you'd think.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of casual viewers of TV. I mean, there are shows that I am a casual viewer of, like Walking Dead. When I heard that Rick Grimes was leaving the series, I hadn't watched the show in years, but I was curious how they're going to pull that off. So I watched an episode. I could see somebody doing the same thing here. How are they going to bring those characters in?
It feels odd to me, though, because to me that feels similar to picking up a novel and just picking a random page and starting from there.
Well, especially a show like this, you're not going to understand half of what's going on.
Right.
Like, it's not like if you started in the middle of 24, you're probably fine.
Yeah. What an odd example to pull.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of a show that we watched that like it's still like story heavy and like continuous, but like like once you've seen like one season of 24, like
he's trying to stop the bomb, blah blah blah.
We were talking about
this
24
person was a
earlier
traitor.
today.
What'd you say?
Were we?
Real time.
Yeah,
Was
real
I
time.
involved in that? I don't remember.
You and I.
Here's one thing really interesting about Better Call Saul that I don't think applies to a lot of other shows, which is it has a lot of it has much more name recognition relative to its viewership than many other shows have. And like I think proof, well, there's all kinds of objective proof of this, but just the other day I was at my place of work, and in the morning they do like a big like group huddle, and they'll have like a question of the day. So like
and then everyone in unison sings "Pollos Hermanos, Pollos Hermanos, delicious chicken soup, grilled and fried, Pollos Hermanos, Pollos Hermanos, we will make you satisfied."
I think that's right.
Like that, yeah.
Wow.
So that's not what happened, but it would have been awesome. But it was like share any show that you're watching right now. And a bunch of people. So it was like there was like at least 20 people there and going in a circle. And interestingly, a bunch of people said The Extraordinary Attorney Woo, which is this like K-drama that just blew up on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was interested in watching that.
Me too. I like almost clicked it the other day.
You know what? Instant Takes canceled tonight. We're watching.
Yeah. So a lot of people mentioned that, and then when it came to me, I said I'm watching Better Call Saul, and I'm really excited because the series finale is coming up. And by the way, Saulcast twice a week. Like, subscribe, comment. No, I didn't say that part, but I mentioned Better Call Saul, and like everyone there like nodded with like recognition and like found it interesting, or at least like acknowledgement. Whereas most other people were mentioning shows, and it was just kind of like, okay, we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I think what it was is probably most of them watched Breaking Bad.
Right.
And they knew that this show existed, but just probably never really checked it out. Or they watched an episode or two and didn't get hooked.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many of my friends are like, yeah, I got to watch that show. I got to watch that show. But it doesn't have the same obvious hook as Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
That first episode grabs you and doesn't let go. Better Call Saul it doesn't have that.
Well, and even if you boil it down to a one-liner, Breaking Bad, high school chemistry teacher becomes meth kingpin.
Yeah.
Bam.
Better Call Saul, lawyer seeks the approval of his older brother. There's a girl at work he likes.
They smoke cigarettes. Sometimes.
He has a friend named Marco.
Yeah.
They have a ring from. Yeah.
He has a ring.
There's a tequila stopper.
Yeah.
Now that you gotta get past the first scene, it's black and white, doing some artsy BS, you know.
So I think it's a little less. It's substantially less accessible or like immediately gripping than Breaking Bad, even though it's as good, if not better.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Now, one thing I was thinking about is Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are very different in many ways, but they're also very similar in that we keep saying that the characters are great. You're watching the character progression. But that progression, part of the reason it's so interesting is because they're constantly flirting with the dark side. They're getting a little bit more evil. They're doing bad stuff and corrupting their souls. Is that a requirement? Could you do interesting character progression without that? Because I keep trying to imagine Vince Gilligan going on to make another great character drama, but is every single one going to be about someone who's potentially getting corrupt and going down a dark path?
Well, so the one like alternative I thought of as you were posing the question is, what about the opposite? It's like someone in a bad situation trying to make better decisions.
Right.
But you have that in these shows. They're just not main characters. They're not the main characters. Like you have that with Nacho.
Mm-hmm.
You have that with Jesse
at a certain point, yeah,
to an extent. But it's like in the end, they are the central focus.
Right.
I don't think that's because it's impossible to make the show about that, but maybe it's easier or it's more exciting.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be what these writers are more interested in.
It's harder to conceive of because you think, okay, what if you have a good character? Then the only thing I can think of is you challenge them like John Wick style, or, it's like a police procedural. It's them just trying to get out of a situation or solve something. And well, there's got to be some good character development in there. And there are things you can do, but they have to have some kind of a struggle. But it just feels like the idea of these characters struggling morally is so powerful. I wonder if that is just the apex of is that like part of the secret sauce of what makes these shows so good? I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about.
To what so I only saw one season of Mad Men. To what extent did that like have a similar?
Pretty similar. Yeah, I would say Don Draper and a lot of his coworkers are just not good people, and you're watching them try to improve in different ways, but pretty similar. MJ 323, thank you for the 521. Do you think Jimmy could hit rock bottom and still earn redemption in the time remaining? I think maybe, but it seems it would be very difficult. I do think maybe. Now, I'll say this. I don't know that he can earn redemption, but you may be able to point in that direction and end on the note of he's at least seeking redemption, because that alone would be a major step for him.
Right, because it would mean he recognized there's anything there. That's two-pronged. It would be, first of all, there's something redeemable. First, him acknowledging about himself, there's something redeemable here, meaning there's some good in me that I'm trying to preserve. And it would mean he's acknowledging the wrongs that he's done.
Right. And I think the rock bottom mention, I think, is perfect, because I think more and more the last couple of episodes, the analogy to alcoholism or drug addiction is very fitting, because we said it a million times in the instant take and in the full take. We're essentially watching Jimmy relapse, go on a binge, and he doesn't care anymore. And for an alcoholic or a drug addict, oftentimes the only way they're going to get better is that they hit rock bottom. And at a certain point, they need to decide they want help, or they need to decide they need to get better. If we see Jimmy make that decision, and that I think is definitely possible in the span of 2 episodes, just making that decision for me would be a satisfying conclusion. You don't need to see him take the entire journey.
It becomes like 100 good deeds for Eddie McDowd.
Right.
Did he ever finish those 100 deeds?
I think the show got canceled. Yeah. But hey, in this day and
still
age,
a dog.
Maybe it comes back. It gets a resurrection. Like, slight tangent for a second. To anybody in this chat here, remember the show Titus?
Oh, yeah.
From the 90s on Fox. I rewatched that show like 8 years ago, and I was like, this is pretty good, actually, because it was one of the early examples of just a show comedically dealing with some really dark subject matter, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But Christopher Titus had a very difficult life growing up, and he just frankly talked about all of it in the guise of a sitcom. That show's been off the air for 20 years.
I remember there was like a season where he was on death row.
That sounds vaguely familiar. I don't remember. But he recently just got the actors together and just shot another episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
He shot like a 40-minute true finale to the series. I was just like, let me Google Titus. I do it like once every 3 or 4 years. And I just saw it. I was like, wow, that was unexpected.
You got a calendar reminder, like, time to Google Titus again.
Maybe 100 deeds for Eddie McDowd. Same thing. We'll see. All right. I know we've got another super chat here. Stateless. He figured it out.
Hey.
Thank you for the 20 Canadian dollars.
Not sure what the avatar represents there.
Yeah, I don't know. What is that? He sent a super sticker. So to see that, we have to actually go to YouTube.
Was it the goal?
I can describe it.
Yeah, see if you can describe
it. It's like this little blob, like pear-shaped guy. It might be a pear with arms. He's running really fast. Got a headband.
Oh, yeah.
And it says the word goal above his
head. That's us. We're running to the finale, running to the finish line.
I want to slow down then and
savor this. Yeah. Thank you very much, Stateless. Again, you're another person who I see pop up in these live streams in the comments all the time. So thank you very much for the support.
Thank you.
All right. Happy Sanjo. Thank you for the $2. After Breaking Bad,
I was thinking about this.
What happens to Los Pollos Hermanos?
If not for the fact that the business was actually being co-opted for the purpose of like transporting meth and transporting like chemicals and stuff, it could have survived the Breaking Bad timeline. But I think given the fact that its trucks and its like distribution chain was actually being used for like the drug trade, I think it's got to be finished. Which is unfortunate because their chicken looked amazing.
Yeah.
I think through all of that, though, there's one man who would be able to hold it all together.
Go on.
Yeah. Say it. It's Lyle.
Yeah. We were all thinking it.
I feel like he is surged in popularity for about a week. There are still the Lyle people out there, But it used to be the entire chat was just Lyle. Talk more about Lyle.
Yeah,
Lyle
I
chat.
did see Lyle messages though in the chat
Yeah.
still.
I've seen a few of them pop up.
Lyle stands. Is
Yeah,
that right?
that's right. Yeah,
What is it? Why is it Stan?
I looked into this once. I forget.
All right, so here, this is what it was always just was in my head, but I don't know if it's right.
Yeah.
There's that Eminem song where it's like he has this fan, and I think the guy's name is Stan. And he's like writing into him, and he's like, "You never read my letters, but like I'm a big fan of yours and stuff." And I don't know, it doesn't end well.
That's where the
That's
term
where it comes
originally
from?
came from.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought it
nice.
was gonna be like the countries, like Pakistan, Afghanistan.
No,
You're like the like you know,
You're
like
the
Eminem
nation.
Nation.
Of Lyle. You're
Yeah.
Lyle Nation.
I think
Lyle
you're
Nation.
too smart for this. You're like reaching to these complicated things. I was like, it's an Eminem song about a guy named Stan. But I will say this: the cost of the Los Pollos Hermanos brand has got to be. Speaking of rock bottom, it's got to be next to nothing, right?
Debatable.
Really?
If you heard that KFC turned out to be a massive front for a meth empire,
Yeah.
but there was one near us, after the news broke, don't you think we would go and get some? We'd be like, this might be the last time we'll ever get to have
We need
it.
to support them.
Yeah.
If the chicken's good.
Well, it would surge briefly before it got shut down, but then the trademark. Could you buy the brand and then reopen it and clean it up?
Probably.
Well,
Yeah.
wait, how many Los
FBI
Pollos
can't seize
Hermanos?
that, or the
That's
DA
right.
or whatever.
How many Los Pollos Hermanos were there in the show? Was it just
I
the
think it
one?
was a
I don't know.
regional chain. No,
Okay.
there was more than one, I think.
Because if you have like
because
enough
you usually have to blow up
franchises,
one of them.
Yeah.
if you blow up like KFC, like at a certain point, you're like, I don't need to do this meth business anymore. How do I get
Yeah.
out of this?
So after it shuts down and they like rebuild it, they could lean into that whole like meth reputation thing. Like they
Our
could name
chicken is
types of
addictive.
chicken. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. I mean, the way our society is going, crumbling. You buy your meth right along with the chicken.
I do think we should get fried chicken.
Yeah, I'm
for the
starving
last
right
no,
now.
well, for the last episode at least.
Oh yeah, I would have said
Maybe tonight. too.
Yeah.
we after editing the episode of Saulcast for episode 10, where Frank was eating the cinnamon rolls. I could not stop myself.
Mhm.
I had to get a couple cinnamon rolls. You had one too,
Yeah,
right? I got you
did.
one. What
Actually,
did you,
all of us had some.
Well,
you
Yeah.
did? Okay.
Yeah, we came to that surprise.
Yeah, I surprised
Yeah.
them all when they showed up at
And
cinnamon
we
rolls.
split one. Yeah, it's good.
By the way, for one cinnamon roll, the one that Frank ate, 880 calories.
It didn't
insane.
feel like that many when I ate it.
That's what I was gonna say. What did you think of it?
Okay, it was good. Well, did you heat yours up?
Well, when I got it, it was still warm.
Okay.
Uh,
I warmed mine up, and I have to say it was really good.
Yeah.
Not satisfying because I just wanted more,
Mhm.
but I knew how bad it was for me, and I wish there was more icing.
Yeah. Now I think if Gene made it, if Gene made it the day after he pulled the Jeff scam and was still feeling awesome, if he made it on that day, it would have been a
Oh,
great
yeah.
cinnamon roll. I think. I think there was something
Although
else. I
if
wanted to
Gene
say.
made it for me and I knew who he was, I wouldn't even taste it. I would preserve it in epoxy,
Oh, just
like
like
the hot dog.
I thought.
Oh, and also taco,
Verner's-
nachos grills, and nachos grills. Oh, there's two things preserved in epoxy.
Wait,
in this
Tuco
series.
had grills. What are you
So
talking
two-
about?
What did I say? Oh, I said
Nacho,
nacho.
yeah.
Tuco had his grills preserved in an epoxy cube, and it was given to Hank as
That's right.
as a trophy.
Yeah,
Oh.
for like catching him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there's that,
I
and then also you have the slide rule,
Yeah, from Werner.
nacho slide rule,
That's
Werner's slide rule. But the thing I was mentioning is this like internet meme of this guy who preserved a hot dog in epoxy like 2 years ago now,
yeah,
and it still looks like fresh.
really.
Yeah.
Could you eat that?
I don't know.
Trish
I would
D.
do that with the cinnamon. If it was like a Gene made cinnamon roll, I would do that.
Thank you for the $2. Why are we seeing Jimmy's esteem in finale years later? Oh, his
Oh,
car.
the car.
I don't know.
Do you think that was like
Is that a
revealed in
spoiler? I
teaser
don't know.
or something?
I don't know, Trish.
Adam,
I'm
put
gonna
your
just-
mask back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, put your mask back on.
well, he already saw it. I have to hit him on the back of the head.
Yeah. We've talked about this before. How there's two different things.
Yeah,
Like an amnesia pill you can take for TV spoilers.
Forget me not.
forget me now.
Forget me now. Yeah, you don't
Oh,
want to. You do want to
Forget me
forget
not.
it.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
more. Yeah, I got
The opposite. Something you could take to just like kill any memory you have, so that you could, if you've accidentally gotten a spoiler. And then
Right.
also, if you saw a really good movie you can give yourself amnesia so you can watch it again.
Right. Well, it built into the seats is a device that just like neuralizes your brain.
Yeah.
And then you can watch the movie again like you never saw it. Trish, thank you for the $2. I'm not sure how to respond to that. So,
well, okay, we can on a broader, just to try to answer it like in a broader sense.
Yeah.
What reasons would we potentially have for Gene or for the show to revisit the past, like the early days of like Jimmy McGill, right, like before he became
in like a flashback?
Yeah, it could be a flashback.
Well, I think we need to address Chuck. I don't know that we'll see him again.
Yeah,
that would, to be honest, a Chuck cameo would almost excite me more than the Jesse and Walt cameo.
Me too.
I don't know what that would be. I mean, the Winter flashback, I've mentioned it a bunch of times, but Jimmy and Chuck singing Winter together.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes in the series. It was nice to see a almost good memory between them, but it also captured so much about their relationship. The way Chuck pulls the microphone away from him and needs to be the center of attention, and the way that Chuck is so kind to Jimmy when he's a drunk, bumbling fool.
Right.
It just did such a good job. It could have been a short film on its own to just say something about these two brothers. If they could find something like that again to revisit the early days, I mean, that would be incredible.
That's like we love that. Like that's the stuff. It was that and the Gene sequences that I really relished in throughout the series.
Yeah. It's sometimes I feel is this I don't know the word for it, but an unintelligent take or like an unsophisticated take. Prequels, I have a hard time with prequels. When I know a character dies, for example, like Gus, we know he is defeated by Walt / Hector. If they announced a Gus prequel, part of me would be, I know he dies. And I might feel similarly with Better Call Saul. The fact that we saw that Gene flash forward, like, really amped up my interest in the show. I mean, I was very hyped for it because I know the caliber of talent behind it. I love the Saul Goodman character, and there's a lot of mystery around him. But knowing that we're going to see beyond the timeline of what we already saw just amped my interest up even further.
Yeah, so then you knew he doesn't die during Better Call Saul time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's really kind of funny how it's almost become like the end point of any series is someone dies.
Right.
As if like that's the only significant thing that can happen to a person.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think that's in everyone's heads. Like if you know someone dies, what's the point? We even have that in real life. We're all gonna die.
Yeah. So why even bother?
Yeah, like I know how it's gonna end. Right. So
yeah.
It's about the journey.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I'll say, but when it comes to like Gus specifically, the only way they could make I say the only way, but I'm sure if they did another way, I'd still be really into it. But the feeling I have is that the only way like a Gus prequel, for example, could really excite me is if it turns out that when he was younger, he was actually like a normal, nice kind of guy.
Well,
and turned into this over time.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and that's exciting to me. But then I would also have the reaction of, well, okay, so they've kind of done this twice already.
Yeah, again.
Well, how old was he when
but I'm kind of ready for another ride anyway. So
right.
How old was he with the whole Kawati thing?
He was a child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking with him. Like we know he was pretty evil since he was a kid. So
he might have made that up.
Yeah, it's possible. That could easily be.
True.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, unless you like, I don't know, you just want to watch like an evil person for like several seasons. Like, I feel like normally someone has to have some redeeming quality for you to.
Yeah,
like,
and
I don't know. People watch Saulcast.
Plot twist. Plot twist. It was his brother who did that to the Kawati, and it's his brother who pushed him.
His brother was
Chuck
a Kawati.
What was that?
Like instead of Chuck, it was like made it
see.
feel a little bit Spanish.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel Payne, thank you for the $4.99.
Oh.
Finale prediction. Gene finds a time machine, goes back to the 90s, becomes Eminem, and then lives out the actual plot of the song Kim.
Oh, right.
With
Okay.
Kim.
So another Eminem parallel.
Wow.
Right. Eminem's like early, I think either girlfriend or wife, like baby mama.
Are you rapping
He
right now?
he had his daughter, his famous daughter Haley, I think with Kim. I could be wrong, but anyway, she's an important part of like Eminem's story.
what would your actual reaction be if a sci-fi element were introduced in tonight's episode? Even subtle, like a UFO goes by.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but something similar happened in another show that I really liked.
Yeah.
And I thought it was awesome.
I know what you're talking about, and it was awesome.
Yeah. So
Breaking
this
Bad.
isn't this isn't that's how Walt got the secret meth recipe.
Yeah, that's right.
When the
It's
two
like, you know, a lot of
UFOs
people
crashed
think-
into each other.
And it like made some new substance that was like perfect. And Walt came over and was like, whoa.
And then it went on to cause and then it went on to cause a zombie apocalypse,
Yeah,
Walking
yeah.
Dead. Then a Cloverfield monster shows up, and then
John
Was
Goodman
it Walking
starts
Dead
hiding in
that
the-
they? I was gonna make a bad joke saying, was it Walking Dead where they introduced the sci-fi element?
yeah, it's good.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, Walking Dead, they one of the characters did have blue meth as an Easter egg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah.
That's right.
But go on.
Where was I?
I don't know. Something about Daniel and Payne.
Always trying to steal attention.
The sci-fi elements in shows. Okay, so I really liked it in that show.
Mhm.
Better Call Saul is not exactly that kind of show, so I don't think it would fit. But there would be at least like 10 seconds where I was like, ah.
Yeah. There are some like Oz, you know that show
Yeah,
in
the
prison.
prison.
Watch
Yeah.
a little bit of
That show introduced some supernatural elements. It was one
Wait,
of the.
really?
Can I do spoilers for Oz?
I
You're
didn't know
announcing
that.
All right, spoilers for Oz. If you don't want to hear it, skip forward 30 seconds. But there's a character who talks to the camera throughout the series, and at a certain point, he dies, and then it cuts back to him. He's like, "Hey, just because I'm dead doesn't mean I can't, I have to stop talking to you all." So he continues to talk to the camera. At certain points, like potentially angels or people show up from the dead, and it's implied they might not be a hallucination.
How did that kind of stuff sit with you?
The tone of the show, it worked. I think partly because there's a character talking to the camera, which already tells you you're seeing things that aren't strict to reality.
Right, because otherwise it's not like the show is about this prison documentary or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll say I don't think it would work for Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious. MG is back. Thank you for the $5. She has a prediction on Pollos Hermanos. It will be bought by the newly minted millionaire Walter Jr.
I have some objections to this.
All right.
If he's going to buy anything, he's buying a Waffle House or an IHOP.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us could do better than that. That was great.
Joe
All
and
right.
we had a bad experience at the
Yeah.
last Waffle House we went.
You and I did
to.
too.
Oh,
The first-
actually,
yeah.
if you want to know what happened at the Waffle House, that I cannot discuss publicly. That story is told on the Patreon. And then we had an experience at a Waffle House
It was
too.
stinky.
Yeah, and I discovered a new species of there was a sci-fi element.
Yeah.
I saw
an alien.
I saw a monster.
It was like a mini like District 9 kind of
Yeah,
monster.
creature.
Yeah.
We did see a UFO the day before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's real.
I don't know what that was. Still to this day, I don't know what that was.
Yeah. I've explained it to you many times, but
You said it was a lightning ball. I've looked
No,
at
I never said that.
Did you take a picture?
No, it was
no.
suddenly while I was driving.
It happened to occur coincidentally.
And you
Oh, we
get a
were right.
eyelash, bro.
He also has something
It was-
on his eyebrow here. Did you get
Yeah.
that? No, left.
He's also bleeding profusely. Yeah.
All right, this is now the Adam makeover episode. What was it? Oh, so
They're the
we were
UFO.
driving right near where Cushada would have been. We were
Really?
in Louisiana.
Okay.
Cushada is a fictional town, right?
I don't think so.
Never mind.
Kushada.
It's real, but
Yeah, Kushada definitely exists.
we were like 2 hours outside of Baton Rouge,
Okay.
right before we got this like flat tire that the aliens caused. And we saw this streak of light like fly through the sky. Everything got bright. It was like when everything's illuminated by a lightning strike, but,
Right.
but brighter, right?
Well, I remember
Was
there
it
being
lightning?
there was a lightning strike. It was what I remember, and then immediately in the aftermath,
There was lightning, and then we saw this
Yes.
thing fly like really fast, really bright, a little bit of a green tinge maybe, and it had a tail.
Yes.
Now we both like freaked out, and we're screaming about aliens.
Yeah.
Now it did happen to have happened around the same time as the Leonid meteor showers, which are visible from that area.
So there was a UFO during a meteor
Yeah.
shower.
They were there to observe it.
Yeah.
Wait, so
Okay.
which episode of Better Call Saul was this?
The one with the time machine.
Mark Rayburn, thank you for the €5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife is
No. It says me wife.
my wife is convinced Kim has become a disappearer because she took the vacuum card from the vet. Any chance?
Any chance?
I don't think so. I just don't think she needs to disappear. I don't think she has to go on the
She's
run.
not.
Well, and also Gene asked for her by name, so I don't think that would work.
Yeah.
She would be under an assumed name.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
Well,
bet that
this thing became the disappearer.
Oh, like she's helping people disappear. Oh, so you call and say,
the
I need a
vacuum card.
sprinkler vac 5000 to disappear. So she's taking on Ed's job.
I don't know. This could just be a
Wait.
poorly
Wait,
constructed.
what
sentence.
what did they say her job is now?
Sprinkler.
She is a
That
sprinkler.
is well, that is completely out of left field for her. That would
Yeah.
I don't believe that Ed really had a passion for vacuum cleaners.
Yeah. I guess she wanted to leave her hometown. And maybe now she feels bad for people who feel trapped in a situation that want to leave. So she became a disappearer.
I think my guess is her days of eschewing the law
Yeah.
are over
All right. We'll see.
for now.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm intrigued by this possibility. I
Kim
like
is
it.
a sprinkler confirmed.
Well, she could be doing it in a legitimate way of just like helping people escape a bad situation. You know,
Like getting their records expunged.
right, or like they made a few mistakes. They want a fresh start, that kind of thing.
Built a meth empire.
A new start.
Julius Caesar's getting a nice. Julius Caesar's going to get a Cinnabon for the finale. Fun fact: there is no such thing as a food called a Cinnabon. So Cinnabon, by the way, Cinnabon is the name of the establishment. What you're talking about is a classic roll, but I think colloquially we call them Cinnabons.
I've never had a bad experience at a Waffle House.
We have. We'll talk about it on the Patreon.
Thank you for the $5, IPS. Don't have much to say except shout out to Dr. Belknap. Hope he got that mustard off his shirt.
Oh.
You guys know what he's talking about?
No.
Adam, you want to?
I mean, is
Tell
that the
our
doctor
viewers-
who told Walt that he had cancer?
It must be because he had the mustard on his shirt.
Yeah.
Walt was staring at it while he was getting the diagnosis. It did that
That
thing.
sounds familiar.
I don't think I ever realized. I don't think I was ever aware of his name.
Must have had a
That's
name
funny.
tag there.
Yeah.
And you know that thing they do in TV where someone's getting bad news and then you stop hearing what they're saying?
Yeah.
Saulcast is going to be canceled. And then Walt's like, you have a mustard stain on your shirt.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I've told you? Yeah, cancer, inoperable.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That
IPS.
is, I mean, that's a cool scene. Just
it's
like
a great scene.
the way he receives the news. Some part of his brain can't take it,
Yeah.
and so I mean, it's actually like kind of one thing Breaking Bad did really well, and I think one difference between it and Better Call Saul
Yeah.
is it has these little like really small microcosm kind of scenes that tell you almost everything you need to know about a character.
Yeah.
And this is kind of one of them where, because of his inability to cope with this terrible news, he becomes hyper fixated on something.
Right.
And that's the entire series for Breaking Bad. That's exactly what Walter ended up doing.
Fly.
Yeah, that's another example.
Yeah. I know. Completely agree. Guy Incognito, thank you for the $5. As always, love the Avatar. SpongeBob, for those listening. Drove 35 miles last week to get Cinnabon classic rolls. Very accurate statement. I like it. $5.69 each plus tax, which begs the question, what is a Cinnabon truly worth?
Well, it's worth a lot more now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess Better Call Saul is not doing that well in the ratings. So
I mean, it's doing well enough that
We
Cinnabon better be paying for this.
we can account for at least 3 classic rolls that were purchased thanks to this show.
And I have a friend who attempted to purchase one. He went to the mall just to do it,
Yeah.
and they were closed. They were under construction.
Yeah.
And he was furious. And he was like, don't you think, given the show is ending and people are probably, Cinnabon is through the roof right now, do you think they would try to be open and do some kind of cross promotion?
That reminds me of maybe I should save this story for Patreon. I don't know. But when we've joked about how my life kind of followed the Jimmy trajectory, but out of order. So there was my Jimmy McGill days, my Slippin' Jimmy days. Then I had my Gene days where I was at rock bottom. And now I'm in the Saul Goodman days. But during the Gene timeline, when I was just at the worst of the worst, had the worst week, one of the worst weeks of my life, I was driving to work and I noticed a Cold Stone Creamery And I said to myself, and I texted you, I said, hey, this weekend, we're going to that Cold Stone.
Yeah, maybe you should save it. Nah.
Yeah, we're going to that Cold Stone. We're getting a couple milkshakes, And so finally that day comes. We walk over to the Cold Stone, permanently closed. I think I literally screamed. I was like, no.
I was concerned.
And then
a little bit.
I died
inside.
This is not related to the podcast that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But do you guys want fried chicken for the show tonight?
I think
I'm going to order some.
I think I'll want it after the instant take. I don't think I want to eat it.
I can't stay up that late.
You're not going to.
I'll be on the instant take.
I
need some sleep.
All right. I would say get enough that I can have some.
Okay.
If I want it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it now.
All right. Perfect.
I'll still be listening.
Richie MC, thank you for the $5. Love to hear Chuck's letter to Kim in the finale about warning her about his bro, Jimmy. Howard knew who Jimmy was. You? I need a refresher. Actually, I might need your attention for a second. Did Chuck write a letter to Kim specifically about Jimmy?
Oh, this sounds really familiar.
I mean, there was definitely a letter that Chuck wrote to Jimmy that was read after his death. And Jimmy read it out loud very callously, made Kim cry. Great scene. Not because she was crying. I mean, that was part of it. It was a very dramatic scene.
People definitely tried to warn Kim about it.
Yeah.
I just can't remember. I don't want to say that didn't happen. My memory is lacking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, let's see. People in the chat will correct us, I'm sure. If that letter exists, I would love to hear that. I mean, one way or another, we already said it, but broadly, I think we need to hear about Chuck again.
Was like the crucible in which Saul Goodman was formed.
100%. And I think Jimmy needs to confront his role in Chuck's death. And I always say it, but it's easy to say that Chuck turned Jimmy into Saul because I think that's partially true. But Jimmy also turned Chuck into Chuck. I think that it was kind of a two-way street. Neither of them were that great to each other. Remember when Jimmy changed the numbers on the forums? But that wasn't cool. Tristan Larison, thank you for the $2. Can you guys plug your Instas? I think we only have one Instagram, which I believe is called OneTake Gill, same as my Twitter. It used to be OneTake Vids. Let's confirm that alone. Okay, tech guy's on it. I post all kinds of great stuff on there.
I don't think we'll be sharing our personals.
No, we don't even have personals, so I didn't look for them.
Yeah.
On the Patreon.
I mean, I really don't use social
media. It's still OneTake Vids.
Okay, yeah, OneTake Vids. You'll find the
VIDS.
Yeah, you'll find our Instagram there. Post some fun behind the scenes stuff there sometimes. On my Twitter, I posted an absurdly large piece of lettuce I found in my salad. Piece of lettuce that big has no place in a salad. That's the kind of great stuff you can get on my Twitter.
Gil, Patreon subscribers will get access to my Instagram, but they're not forced to.
Yeah, if you subscribe to,
you just want some people.
Patreon subscribers
DMs,
will not have to look at his Instagram.
Yeah, actually, you're forced to follow my Instagram unless you subscribe.
We'll get you a special plugin for Chrome that censors Daniel if he shows up.
It erases him.
He just gets blurred out
from the
in the dark mirror
during the podcast.
Yeah,
it was blurred.
But I don't. This is casual environment. I don't think people will mind meal planning just for a second.
Sure.
Okay. Do you guys want? I want to get just like regular, straight up fried chicken, but do you guys also want spicy chicken sandwiches?
I don't think so. I think
I'm down
regular.
for just straight.
Get like thighs.
Well, and I know you're trying to get
drumsticks.
some protein.
Oh, sorry, I was just moderating some stuff here.
Oh yeah.
I
do want protein.
I don't know. This dating site
that sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm an adult. I like dating.
All right, there you go.
All right, so no sandwiches. I'm just gonna do straight chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, just straight up chicken.
By the way,
I like dark meat.
I know.
I think
we all do.
We are going to wrap up here shortly because the episode of Better Call Saul, season 6, episode 12, titled "The One Where Jimmy McGill Dies," it starts in 36 minutes. So I think we'll wrap up in about 5 to 10 minutes. So everyone has a chance to use the bathroom, get some snacks, and just get some fried chicken, and just get in the Better Call Saul mindset. But Richie MC, thank you for the $2. Jeffy is greater than OG Jeff. So I don't agree that he's better, but I do think, and I've seen a lot of people were very against the recasting. It was just very jarring to them. I've seen a lot of those people come around on it and say that Jeff has grown on them. And I wasn't as put off by the recasting. I won't lie. I will admit that it definitely was slightly jarring.
Yeah.
For a moment, it felt like we're seeing a different character. I was mostly okay with it. And then I would say in the episode 11, he grew on me, and I'm perfectly happy with Jeff.
I mean, the jarring part to me, and I feel like you guys agree, wasn't the actor necessarily. Like, I think we can look past that. It was that the character seemed different.
Right.
But, I mean, now the character has grown on us as well.
And I don't know if people want to hear me talk about it again, but I've talked a bit about why I think it feels that way, even though the characters were written before they knew the recasting was going to happen. So at least psychologically in the writers' minds, there's no reason to think they would have created a new character after another actor was cast. But what I've always said is that when Jeff first met Gene, he was in a position of power. He had all the leverage, and he had a certain overconfidence. And if you rewatch that scene, he has a kind of nervous laugh. And to me, it feels like overconfidence. In fact, I remember early on in this season on the Pete Pepper stream, we were debating, do you think Jeff is in the game or not? And I said, I don't know. The vibe I get from that scene is that he wants to be in the game, which goes right along with he's trying to be bigger than he is. The next time we see him, he walks in to find Jimmy sweet-talking his mother. So now he's gone from one extreme of overconfidence to being rattled. And I think the Jeff we're seeing here is the real Jeff. The one we saw before had an artificially boosted confidence and ego. Now, because that character shift happened at the same time as a recasting, it's jarring, and it feels like we're seeing a different character.
I just want to say in response to us moderating the chat, Guy Incognito says, if one day I start a dating site and plug it here, would you guys delete my links? I think you've been loyal. You've earned the right to plug your future dating site as long as you don't spam it.
That's what I was going to say. I mean,
you can do all caps, but one post.
Dating site for Better Call Saul fans.
Yeah. There you go. Just say it once, though. It doesn't have to be 14 in a row. So whoever posted that previous link, if you're watching this,
try again. Just only do
if that was a real person that's like upset right now.
Yeah. Like, man, I used to love you guys. I used to be stand for you.
All right, a few minutes to go here before we wrap up. Trying to think, what do we want to end on here?
I want to promote ourselves.
Let's promote some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not even, let me just preface by saying it's not even necessarily promotion. I mean, it is in a sense, but
well, it's like, I don't want this to end.
Yeah, I don't want this interaction to end. And I know I've seen emails, so there's proof that there are people who are bummed, not just about Better Call Saul ending, but they're bummed about this interaction going away, this podcast going away.
And it is. That'll
forever. Right, there
Shut
you go.
down the channel.
No, that's the problem. Every time we try to promote, we start joking about it, and then people are confused. Like, wait, is it ending or not?
This is an ending. Even if there's just a sliver of what you like about Saulcast / OneTake. Saulcast is brought to you by OneTake,
right?
Which I heard you say earlier.
Yeah.
If what you like about that is just us, joking around, and, I mean, really, it's me, right? That's why everyone's
sure, yeah.
That. As proven by the fact there was like 700 people here before I showed up, but we're not going to stop.
Right.
We're just not going to necessarily talk about Better Call Saul every single week.
Right. So basically, if you want to hear us bring the Saulcast flavor to other stuff, TV shows, movies, video games, and just other stuff in general, just subscribe to the OneTake podcast. You can find it on any podcast app. If you want to watch it, go to the OneTake podcast YouTube channel. Link will be in the description.
Right now, you're on the OneTake channel.
Mm-hmm. That's right. This is the main channel.
We didn't want to clutter the main channel with nonstop Saul content only.
Right.
It ended up kind of being that way anyway. But
yeah. Well, if you just go to the channels tab of this channel, you'll find our other YouTube channel.
Or just type in the search bar OneTake podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just its own channel, longer form content where you actually see us.
Yeah. So here, bottom line, I'm gonna spell it out. OneTake. That's the main channel where I do video essays, edited, produced content. occasional live streams. One Take Podcast, that's where you go for longer form discussions. That's where you find the full takes for Saulcast today. And going forward, you'll find us there talking about movies, other shows, and stuff like that. And then, like I said before, if you want the behind the scenes stuff, the stuff that's too hot for the main channel, stuff that would get us in a lot of trouble if people heard it, check out the Patreon, link in the description.
And Gil, before we go, should we do a quick poll of some of the ideas we had? Engage interest.
Yeah, who wants to see me go to Vermont and try and pass the bar and become a lawyer?
Even though the deadline's already passed.
Right. Well, yeah, the other one. I did. Okay, I'll float the idea. I've kind of decided in my head I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
But let me float the idea. Okay, the final episode's coming, right? We got to go out in style. We've got to truly celebrate, with some kind of a publicity stunt. So what if we were to do a pre-show watch party, a live stream that starts at 9 p.m. the day before the finale. So a 24-hour live stream. It starts 9 p.m. Sunday, and we go all the way until the finale premieres. Okay, would there be interest in that?
And before you respond, bear in mind it's been Gil's dream for a long time to do a 24-hour live stream.
I'll be in and out.
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way,
your wits when you actually watch the finale.
Why are we going to Vermont? It's because we are going to film our attempt. It's going to be like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
It's one of the states where
Ezra Miller was just arrested for burglary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're going after Ezra Miller.
Just one thing after another.
Yeah, so that's why. No, it's because Vermont is one of the few states where you can take the bar without going to law school. Yeah. So Denise thinks we should do the 24 hours.
Stateless thinks 12 hours is enough, but we talked about the fact that it doesn't have the same pizzazz. Yeah.
Denise thinks we should do it. Big Ralph says at Gil.
All right. Yeah, that settles it.
Yeah. Stoner says,
I think Big Ralph is just concerned for your health.
Oh,
yeah. Stoner says no. Nod Mary be down for that.
Do it.
Let's see. Patty says cool. MVG says it'll be overkill. You won't be able to enjoy the finale. Yeah, Big Ralph says 12, not 24.
I'll just say, all right. I got home today after working a 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
It is effing hard.
Yeah. I just, for some reason, I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
I mean, years ago.
You're going to need a more comfortable chair.
I know. Before I even started.
Your legs will be numb by the end.
Seriously. Well, sometimes they are at the end of these instant takes. When we did the trivia night, we said it on the live stream, but again, I think people probably thought we were joking. Two of us were actively bleeding during that stream, or I guess I was bleeding. You were scarred. Okay, so for the trivia night live stream earlier that day, Alon was putting up these curtains, and he fell.
Oh yeah,
he fell down because he didn't listen to Daniel.
But I did save his life,
dude. All right, you see the corner of the desk there? I fell off a stool and just hit my back on it.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna be a scar. It's like a scratch like that long,
and then
it's still there.
Can you mention how I saved you though?
Daniel did save me. He caught me, and if I kept falling, maybe I would have hit my head. Maybe I wouldn't be here. I probably would have been fine.
Maybe you would have forgotten Better Call Saul, and you have the joy of rewatching all of it.
I would have forgot I fell and been like, why does my back hurt?
So then right before the stream started, like literally 30 seconds before, I was like, I got to get to the table. And I sprinted and I slammed my leg into the corner of my bed. I've since put little rubber pieces on the end of the corners.
Everyone who's ever bought an IKEA bed frame has done this.
And so like my leg was bruised and cut, and I sat down at this table for 2 hours just bleeding.
And Gil, if we're out of time, that's fine. I don't know if you want to run past the other idea for what we were going to do after Saul ends. Just gauge.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think the 24-hour thing, I think probably isn't going to happen because, I really want to be
I'm
alert.
down for 12 hours, though.
Okay, maybe 12 hours.
If it's 12, I can actually participate.
Okay, so that might happen. That could happen. But
we're talking trivia.
Costumes, games, speculation, reminiscing.
We're gonna get loopy. We're gonna get loopy by the end.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
All this stuff you don't even need. By that point, you can forget the Patreon because they'll just be spilling out our beans all over the table.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, we're not. I don't know. We're not expecting people to be there for 12 hours. We're expecting it to be like an open door. Stop in
office hours.
I assume a lot of you will just be so preoccupied all day you're just thinking Saul's ending tonight. And so if you can't think of anything else, this will be your outlet. Just come and join us. Right.
If you have nothing better to do on a Monday.
But
the idea for after
the other idea I wanted to run by all of you is, would there be interest in revisiting Breaking Bad after Better Call Saul wraps up? I don't know exactly what that would look like, but for example, it could be a few bonus Saulcast episodes where maybe we do one episode per season of Breaking Bad. We'll watch a season, do a 2-hour episode that's part recap, part review, part how do we see things differently in the context of Better Call Saul. That's an idea we're toying with.
I want to.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay. Just let us know in the chat if that's
I've been
something
saving
you want to
Breaking Bad to do like a rewatch after Better Call Saul ends.
Yeah.
So
okay. So that may be in the cards.
if I'm watching it anyway, might as well talk about it.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we're getting, I would say, mixed feelings.
So I'm like, why would you do that? That's a terrible idea.
Gil, should we warn them though that if we did cover Breaking Bad, I might be involved in it.
Right.
Never mind.
Yeah, because Adam may not have as much time. So
we'll TBD. So, okay, based off what we're seeing here, it sounds like pretty emphatic yes on the Breaking Bad stuff. Mixed feelings about the 24-hour live stream.
they were just concerned about your health, it seems, which is very nice.
Okay, all right, awesome.
I like watching Stateless and Big Ralph interact. Chat.
What's the most hours you drank consecutively?
At one point, when Stateless was trying to figure out how to tag another person, he just had one message that just said @Stateless, like himself.
Lance, more Raised by Wolves coverage. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, what is SMH? Oh, shaking my head,
slapping my head.
Maybe House of Dragon.
Hopefully, I'll say this. Listen. So I misspoke actually in a comment I made recently. I said I can't promise that I'll at least watch the first episode and report back. I meant I can promise. I will at least watch the first episode, see how I feel about it.
Adam will wait till we finish the whole series. To
Look, if I'm being realistic, I'll probably, if you're sitting down to watch it and I'm there, I'll definitely watch it too.
Yeah.
But I have no hopes for the series at all.
I think the premise of the One Take podcast after Better Call Saul will be us just attempting to fill the void that Better Call Saul left.
Y'all got any more of that? That good writing?
Yeah. So this is what I'm picturing. So every week we've got an episode of the One Take podcast. We'll talk about something, and basically, is it as good as Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
And then once a month, we'll say, okay, we just finished another season of Breaking Bad, and we'll talk about that, relive the good old days. That's kind of what I'm picturing. Okay, guys, it's 22 minutes here.
Did you order the food?
No, because I need to get my credit card. I need a different one for.
All right,
I was really looking forward to that.
We got to place a chicken order. We got to go get ready. I'm sure a lot of you have to do the same thing. So
people didn't get enough super chats. I couldn't afford it.
I love the idea of Succession recaps. I could see Succession recaps in the future. I really enjoyed what I've seen. People have heard this about 1 million times. So I've watched the first 2 episodes of Succession.
You were this close to wrapping it up.
All right, we're going to wrap it up right now. I'll see you all back here at about 11 p.m. Technically, that will overlap with Talking Saul a little bit, but just logistically, we pretty much have to start at 11 p.m., I think. You can catch Talking Saul the next day on AMC Plus, and Saulcast is, in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for more. Go watch Saul in about 20 minutes, and we'll see you back here at around 11 p.m.
Subscribe to the podcast, the One Take podcast channel, if you want more of this once the series ends.
Yes, link in the description. If it's not there, I'm going to add it right now. Yeah. Okay, with that,
enjoy the episode. This is the second to last we're ever going to get.
Penultimate.
Yeah.
And one other thing.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, just kidding. Go ahead.
All right.
I just knocked one of the lights
I'm
over.
Gil.
I'm Adam.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Alun.
And this is
Saulcast.
Pre-show watch party for the penultimate episode.